The Thrive Coalition, it takes a village to raise healthy and drug-free youth. Come on, thrive with us. Good morning, 6:43, and we'll go to the phones for this morning's segment where you have police spokesman Sergeant Paul Tapao, who's sipping his coffee this morning.
Good morning, Paul.
Afide, good morning. You're absolutely correct. It's nothing like a good old cup of joe right now.
Right now. How do you like it, Sarge?
Man, there's only one way to enjoy a good cup of joe. It's natural ways. Straight up black.
Straight up.
Straight up. Nothing fancy. I'm not this is a French press. I think that's the only way I can get fancy in the morning is I use a French press and, I just let it sit, let it foam, and it's heaven right now.
Well, speaking of fancy, I see your post, man, on social media with your breakfast. And so what did you make today?
That's my part-time chefing gig. With all this distance learning, I had to really adjust and just in accordance to what life has thrown at us. So, it's really assuring that the kids, their palate, it's really in other areas and trying to replicate that and create something. So today's menu is garlic corned beef fried rice with over sleazy eggs.
Okay, we're located at 600 Harbin Loop Road.
You know where we're at, Sarge. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's been fun. So I took up another gig. I'm a part-time barber too for my boys. So this quarantine, it's really interesting in how parents have to adapt and overcome the challenges. And I'm pretty sure every parent has to go through that. But nonetheless, I was enjoying that vibe, and thank you for that plug with the Healthy Thrive Coalition. I think that's beautiful how you guys are bringing that forward.
Right. And so let's just talk about that real quick, Sarge. P-Core 1 lockdown. Obviously, we're all limited and restricted in our movements, but if you could just give us a couple ways that a village could help to raise healthy and drug-free youth.
So it's great how the Guam Police Department has been it's partnered with WestCare and part of the Thrive Coalition. So, the onset of the pandemic, I was really inundated with a lot of different things. There's a lot of moving parts of the Guam Police Department. So the coalition had actually spun into play during the onset, and I was only able to attend a few meetings, via email and, of course, to Google Meet and Zoom. So where we are now, it's really identifying and, going into this partnership, we've identified that the village in which we're going to be focusing the effort. And again, I'm not the spokesperson for the coalition. I'm just speaking on behalf of the partnership and some of the contributions that the Guam Police Department brings forth into this partnership and this collaboration. So it's focusing on the village of Dedido and the three aspects of a healthy youth. It's going to focus on your gateway drugs, which have been identified as alcohol, tobacco, and we're focusing on marijuana. There's a whole aspect in everything, but when you break down the three core factors and you utilize your tools that you have in data collection, such as the schools, Department of Education has a great tracker in infractions of alcohol or primarily tobacco use amongst elementary and middle school. So, trying to target that area and, where Dedido is, where the population of Dedido, and you look at the amount of schools that they have up there, I believe they have like 3 middle schools, they have a whole slew of elementary schools, and I think 2 or 1 high school. So, you'll find that the infractions of students that commit these type of incidents are associated and related to drugs or alcohol or tobacco, and it's pretty high, predominantly within the middle school. So, that was one of our discussions we had in our last Google Meet about how we can utilize and partner, draw the data from DOE. But, Dedido is a big village, and Mayor Savares has been really instrumental in providing the resources of how we can actually utilize and deploy the concept of a drug-free Dedido. So we're really excited for this, and they ventured into the partnership with KUAM, I think, last week. They're partnering with in spreading the message of where we are going with the the efforts with the Thrive Coalition for Drug-Free Dedidone.
Well, thanks, Sergeant. Yeah, we just wanted to get you on real quick and just talk about that and give us some ideas about how we can do our part even under this stay-home order.
It's really ironic how we're talking about this and how one of the things that we talked about and when we did our power meetings is the accessibility of these items. Although tobacco and alcohol products is legal with the age of 21, the accessibility that these kids have and everything, it's really utilized, and the way they gain access to this is to the family. And you look at different breakup groups that we had. One group was focusing on tobacco, the other group was focusing on alcohol, and the other group was focusing on drugs. And it's really the parental figure within the household that has, that has the means of these kids and accessing that. And as a parent, as a responsible parent, should you indulge in these these adult beverages or these tobacco products, you really have to be cognizant of who's around you and how it affects them. And one of the things that we talk about within our youth development or our youth outreach programs when we do our outreach with the families is really talking to the kids about, the consequences and why they are not allowed to do it or they're not permitted to do it at a certain age. We go into the physiological aspect, the biological features of what it does to the body and how it affects them as an educational approach with our outreach. But we try to focus on the parents, and when we looked at the work that we did in our last meeting, we saw a high frequency or a high use of identifier that parental involvement is really, if you look at it from a negative aspect of the spectrum, they're getting it from the parents because it's easily accessible. Now, how do you eliminate that? It's really the parents' role, the parental role in educating your kids, and of course, educating yourself as a parent. We got to break away from that norm where we tell our kids, at a barbecue, hey, go into the cooler and get 3 beers, one for me and 2 for your uncles. So these are the things in which we are accustomed to, and we need to break that habit. And I had to show you in the extreme spectrum, I had a kid who we brought in, and he was going to be confined, and we asked him at the Department of Youth first. Before I went in, I asked him, if you don't mind me asking, how can we help you, and how did you get into this? He goes, man, when my dad tells me to go into a room to get his fix or his rig, once he said the word rig, I was like, man, these are some of the things our kids are exposed to, and it's just that cycle of whether we say it's a cycle of addiction, but it's the normal culture that we see in the household, and we gotta identify that, and we gotta break that. We gotta target how we can actually break that cycle with drug use within the family, and of course, and we're seeing it. We reported where a slew of family members were have been arrested for possession. So that's the extreme spectrum of where we see it graduating from gateway drugs, from alcohol, tobacco to marijuana, and of course to the heavier drugs such as crystal methamphetamine.
Right. Well, thanks, Paul. You're right. It does start at home. So we really appreciate you striving and thriving and being a part of this coalition and everything the Guam Police Department does to keep our kids healthy and drug free. Right.
And I just think it's alarming the evolution of when I was a kid, it was, hey, go get uncle a beer and auntie a beer. And now it's evolved into go get dad's stash box and his rig. It's just insane.
Go get the rig. And it's, and that's the thing that which we see as frontliners with the Guam Police Department. But, for the community aspect to hear this, it's really when we report that as the PIO, it's really, it just breaks my heart when I see kids graduate to that. And, it's something in which our work is, it's really motivating me as the Guam Police Department with this partnership and this collaboration. And again, it's, there's a lot of great work that's ahead of us. So, again, I'm not the spokesperson for the Thrive, but, this is something in which we are happy to be a part of.
Thank you, Sergeant. Again, this segment brought to you by the Thrive Coalition, where it takes a village to raise healthy and drug-free youth. Come on and thrive with us. So, Sergeant Paul Tapao, the Guam Police Department, thank you so much. Sarge 653.
All right, here we go, Doc.
Thanks,
And
Paul.
I think, yes, well, let's just jump into our KUAM News Zoom room where we have standing by it's official, right? The newly retired medical director from public health. Good morning, Dr. Jana Maglonia.
Good morning.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can
Yes.
hear you. We can see you, too.
Good morning, sunshine.
Hey, I got to tell you, no tape today, but I have on lipstick. No mask on right now. I'm in my car.
Right.
I haven't had lipstick on in 7 months, but I thought,